Okay.
There we go. All right. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'll just go through my little one-page agenda. I don't have a ton. And then Nathan is going to log on in a little bit to answer some money questions. If anybody has any of those, be thinking. I know I have one. Is anybody else feeling a shift in the market? Like I've definitely seen it cooling down a little bit. We've got listings that are staying on a little longer than before. Tina, you just unmuted. How about you? Are you like feeling a shift at all?
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing a shift. I'm seeing, like you said, longer days on market, and then lots of price reductions are back on market still. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing for our buyers because it's been a little too crazy for buyers right now. But I'm a little worried. I've got a couple of sellers that, particularly one with a really nice house out in Longview, that decided to do some renovation and they couldn't get a contractor. And I feel like they're missing their window to get their best sale price. So I hope that things don't shift too far too quick. But I always feel like this when school starts, everything slows down a little bit. Everybody's busy. I mean, it changes the dynamic of what people are out doing, and they're not out looking for houses when they're getting their kids started in school for the year. Hey, Francine. So our numbers reflect that it's a little slowed down for the fall season. We had 20 closes in the month of September. It was a little lower than what we've been used to, but it still keeps us year to date. We are the number 30 brokerage in Clark County out of 305.
Did you mean August?
Oh, that's awesome.
Did you mean August when you said 20? Because you said 20 in September.
No, yeah, we've closed 20 last month. So we closed 20 in August. No, we haven't closed 20 in the last 9 days. Close. No. Yeah, so number 30 out of 305, which I always feel like, okay, number 30 is not that impressive. But then when it's 30 out of 305, I get a little more impressed with us. So yay for us. Our year-to-date numbers, we've closed 161 total. And my goal for our first year in business was to have 100 deals. So
good job.
Thank you, everybody. We've got 3 agents that are capped for the year. So Amanda and Janet and Tony not paying any more transaction fees for the rest of this year. Janet, you don't really know Tony, and I don't think he's on this call. He's super competitive. Well, mostly there's no men on this call, right? It's a testosterone thing. All dudes are like that. And so he said, tell Janet I'm coming for her. So
tell him to bring it on. It's all
your
good.
numbers are motivating him. He's like, wait, somebody's doing better than me? I can't have that. I'm like, well, it's happening. Sorry.
Oh, I love it. Tell him to come on.
Carly, I was about to text you, but I'll just tell you, would you make a roster of who's on the call for me? Thank you. Last month, Carly has a little reminder note in here too. Everybody that was on the call last month got a free 100 postcard credit. So if you haven't used that yet, just a reminder that you have it. And yes, Betsy is blowing up the chat. We've got Bella and Cameron both got deals under contract this month, which was super exciting.
Yay. Yay. I'm so proud of you guys.
A lot of fun stuff is happening. Tabitha's not on, but Tabitha knocked it out of the park with planning and organizing for the Bridge the Gap golf tournament, which we raised money for. So I'm going to go through the agenda in order. I've got that on here in case she pops in. So first order of business we will discuss is that our office manager, Carly, is moving to California.
Oh.
I know. Yay for Carly.
Yay for Carly.
So 2 topics on that. Okay, so she'll be working remotely from California, and things that she can still do remotely are TC work, marketing, which includes your postcards, social media posts. She'll still be helping process wires and paying commissions. If you throw something in the think tank or text her because you need something looked up on Northwest MLS, she can still do that. She'll still be doing people's flyers, mailers, and additional social media on request. So she does the social media every time something sells, and she tries to catch them when they go pending as well, and the just listeds. But if you have like an open house or something else happening where you want an additional social media post, you just need to reach out to her and she can create that for you. And that's part of our marketing package. That's not something you have to pay extra for. So utilize it because it's there. And a lot of people say, oh, that's one of my weaknesses is I don't know what to do on social media. So reach out and let her help you. That's why she's here. The other thing with Carly leaving is we'll have less coverage in the office. So 2 things. 1, if you don't have the app to get in and out of the back door, talk to us and let's figure it out so that you'll have the app to get in and out of the back door. We do still have a contractor box on the front door, but your life will be easier if you can figure out the app, and it's not hard. It's just a matter of being here, loading it and testing it to see if it works. So if you don't have the app, let's do that. The second thing is with Carly not in town to be here in the office 3 days a week, I need our collective brain power to help me figure out what to do with office hours. Ideally, if we had people that wanted to do floor time on a regular shift, and we do, Cameron and Betsy and Tabitha have all been taking floor time shifts that kind of offset when Carly was not scheduled to be in the office. I think we're all working from home really well, so it's not a huge priority to be in the office. What we'll miss with the office not being open, just like regular business hours, you just need to be aware. Like if you need Brad to come pick up or drop off signs, then you'll need to make a plan to meet him here if you don't know whether the office is open or not. Or if you have a title company dropping off home book for your listing, just make a plan to meet them to get it. Because if we don't have somebody doing floor time, then the office won't be open. So if if you have things that get delivered to the office, you may want to reroute that. Like if you some people get the, what's the name of the magazine? I don't know, but there's like the box of magazines that'll arrive once a month. If that's not something you'll want left on the front porch by the mailman. So reroute stuff to your house or make plans to meet people here for drop-offs. What I'd love to do is be able to get a better floor time schedule with more coverage. And I want to know how can I incentivize that? Like, what would make people want to do floor time? Some people come in because they need to, they want like a day or 2 out of the week where they're not working from home to be kind of more out. What if you don't do floor time? It's never going to be mandatory. Like some places have mandatory floor time, but what is an incentive? Like, what can we do to make floor time appealing where people are like, yeah, I'll take a day a week. So just, if you don't have an idea right this minute, just be thinking about it and share your ideas with me. Cause I'm just trying to figure out the best way to go. And until we do, we'll just end up maybe with a sign that says, by appointment only, or do some limited office hours.
Also, if people don't want to do regular shifts, potentially they could be prepared to fill in for those of us that are regular and maybe need coverage. I know that I'm keeping my regular schedule of Tuesday morning and Friday afternoons, but there are going to be, over the course of the next month and a half for me, some crossover times. I won't know them until like a day before.
Right.
But there's going to be some times when I'm either can't get there, or I'm going to be late or have to leave a little bit early just because some stuff with my kids and I might have to have another hernia surgery. And that's still being figured out. So knowing that we have people that maybe they don't want to do a regular every single week, but could potentially fill in would also be super, super helpful.
Yeah, so just be thinking about what can we do here at the office to give you something to do that makes it worthwhile to be here doing floor time. When my mom and dad owned their brokerage, like all real estate was conducted via floor time. There were no cell phones, so the brokerage number was on every for sale sign, and there was no Zillow. So if you wanted to look at a house for sale, you had to come into a real estate office and literally look at a printout of the house. So that doesn't exist anymore. I think in our location where we are here in Uptown Village, eventually we'll be able to generate some walk-in traffic, excuse me, when COVID is not an issue, because we can participate. You know, Uptown Village used to have a lot of really active community events, and our location, even though we're on Broadway instead of Main, we've got a straight through to Main. So if we did signage, we could always draw traffic in, but COVID has, you know, knocked that out for the time being. So there are different things we can do, but I know that the allure of floor time is not what it used to be. So we get the occasional sign call, but it's not a ton. So we could maybe alter some of our lead gen to maybe try to generate more calls into the office on particular days. That's something Betsy and I can look at. Yeah, so let's just think about it. And if you have ideas, share them with me, because I want to make it a win-win. I feel like having the office space is a really good thing for us, as opposed to just being 100% virtual. But I also want it to be something that is utilized by all of us for whatever best purpose we can use it for. And that being said, if you ever want to have like a client wine night, you know, have 10 clients over and do wine or whatever, the office is here for you to use for that. Okay. Tech and office leads. Betsy was going to talk for a minute. We have been doing some office lead gen to try to get some leads in. They come in, they go to Betsy, and then she will route them out to whoever is available to take a call that minute. Like, you know how online leads work. They click a button, and if they don't talk to somebody in 30 seconds, they click another button and talk to somebody somewhere else. So if you're going to be on the rotation for those leads, you have to be available at the times that you say you're available. And we're going to do those on a 70-30 split. So we're spending about $2,500 a month to try to generate some leads. It's a process. It's going to take a while to get everything in place, you know, to get them to start flowing. We just kind of started this last month. So to offset the cost of the lead gen, we're doing 70-30 split on office leads if you want to be on the rotation to get office leads. The thing that you'll have to do is you'll have to have your Chime account set up, because they're going to come through Chime. And she's not on the call, but Andrea my sister's name is Andrea, and Andrea is Andrea, but Andrea Mayhew is not on the call right now. And she is an online lead gen converter like nobody's business. Like she and John do most of their business with realtor.com, and she takes those online leads and she knows how to nurture them. She's got great scripts for how to get them to convert, how to get that first appointment. So she is going to do a class on online lead gen for our office on September 21st. And so if you want to get in the rotation for the office leads, that's kind of the requirement. There's three things. You need to have your Chime account set up, because that's how you'll receive them. You need to do the little 1 hour session with Andrea on lead gen, just as a little refresher, since we haven't been doing this here for the last 9 months. and signed the 70-30 split agreement. So anybody who wants in on that rotation, get on Betsy's list. And then we'll kind of get that Red Robin process started up soon. And Betsy, want to give us a little update on how tech and lead gen are going?
So we are getting quite a few leads coming in with kind of a mix of people that are just looking, and the second I follow up with them, they either yell at me or disconnect. And some people that are like, great, I'm ready to sell. They request a home eval from us, and I'm immediately on the phone with them, or within like 10 minutes. If they call or I get the lead notification when I'm driving, I wait till I'm done driving. But so I'm getting a mix. We have about, I would say probably 50-50 of people that are like, I didn't want this. I don't want you to contact me, leave me alone. And the other ones that are like actually engaging. I'm not to the point of any sort of active interaction with any of these in terms of starting a transaction immediately. But I'm definitely kind of getting the feel and getting, I have an email that goes out to them, and then I call them immediately. Or like I said, within the 10 minutes. What I'm going to put into place, and it's just going to take a little bit of trial and error for me, is that round robin list, especially once people have gone through the class with Andrea and have done all of the steps we just talked about. What I want to do is have it to the point where I can just go, I check what they've done when they register, because I do need to look and see how they've come in. I need to chat with them, find out what their needs are, and forward them to that next person. And if I'm in the middle of a transaction or doing something like that, I want to be able to have that automated list. So I am going to be in communication with you guys, and I will have like a weekly list of knowing that you guys are on your phones and watching them and checking your Chime, and like have your Chime app on your phone, all of that kind of stuff, so that I can have that transition be very smooth. So far, the people that talk to me have been very receptive and great communication. And so I've got some people that I'm nurturing to direct to people. So if I reach out to you this week and say, hey, this is so-and-so, they're ready to talk to you about this, please be. And what I'm going to try to do is also have this little automated alert. Hey, I just sent you something in Chime. Please go check it, sort of a thing, so that everybody is feeling like they're getting that instant level of communication. So working out the kinks, we're getting some good leads. We have 2 different sources, Google and Facebook ads from Chime itself. And we have stuff coming from another lead gen source that Shanna and I researched. They're slowly getting the ads up, and they're going to start sending us some stuff as well. So we'll have hopefully these 2 really strong sources of good leads for everybody. And it's just going to take me a little bit of time to work out the kinks. But it's coming together.
So Betsy is working as our leads manager. So these leads are for the office to go out to everybody who wants to participate in that. And it's not a mandatory thing. If you're doing enough business without being on a 70-30 split that you don't need leads, like, more power to you.
Right.
But we do have some people that are doing doing a 35% as a Redfin referral partner, or different programs like that. So if that's something that you like to have in your arsenal of lead gen, then this is just totally another option. It's not a requirement, it's just another option. But we have them coming into one central source, and then Betsy immediately starting them on some nurturing things. And then when they finally are ready to talk, she's going to say, like, let's just say it's Andrea who's next up, and she's gonna say, okay, great. But I've got an agent that I want to introduce you to, and she'll facilitate that connection. So by that point, they're already like a warm lead. So
Right.
At 70-30 split, we're not just sending you a phone number to say this person clicked a thing once and might want to talk, or might tell you I didn't put my phone number there when they literally just did 10 seconds ago, which is
Right.
my personal experience with online lead gen, which is why I have Andrea, who, like I said, she's like the master of that conversion. And I'm really excited that she's going to teach a little tutorial on that, because it's just a different skill set. It's not one of my good skills, but she is really good at it. And Betsy is really good at it. And so having having somebody that's just grabbing the leads and starting the nurturing before we hand it to an agent. You know, if I say, okay, we're going to connect you with a mall, and then they say, yeah, I didn't even click that, because that's what people do. So
Yeah.
we're warming, we're making sure they're a warm lead before we pass it on. So
Yeah.
it's
Sorry, I
taking-
didn't explain that very well.
yeah, it's taking a little bit of time. So we've got them coming in and they're in the system, but nobody who's ready to pull the trigger to do anything yet. But the more we keep nurturing them, the better it's going to get.
Mhm.
And then we have another, like I said, another stream coming in of that. And then Andrea asked the question, does the 70-30 go toward CAP? It's a great question. We hadn't really talked about it yet. So I would love to kind of brainstorm with you, because you're the queen of good ideas. And maybe we could talk later about how to help me figure out how to structure that, because we haven't done it yet. But yeah, it makes sense that it would, at least partially. Part of it needs to offset the cost of the lead gen, but then, so on that split, you would not pay a 70-30 plus the transaction fee plus the compliance fee. It would just be that split. And
Oh,
part of that split goes back into the lead gen pot. So yeah, some of it definitely would go toward CAP. We just have to figure out what that ratio would be. I can tell that you've got ideas. I see you. So thank you, because again, everything we're setting up is always new. It's a work in progress, and the more brains that contribute to it collaboratively, the better it's going to be than just me having a wild idea and saying, let's do it this way. So yes.
Can I jump in with something really fast? So also, if you guys ever get something from me where I say, hey, do you want to do a trial run of something with me? It's because I'm checking out so Chime went through a whole bunch of feature updates, for instance, and SkySlope has some new stuff too. So last week, Andrea and I sat there and did a trial run on how SkySlope forms, and its feature update was working. And I've done a couple things over the last week of trying out, hey, if somebody goes onto our website, how is this looking if they just randomly go there? So I go into Chime and I play around, and I need to have somebody on that other side testing it out with me, so we know when it's not random. So I want to make things and catch any of the little funky things that maybe work a certain way or need a certain step. I want to figure some of those out that they don't tell us about. And I'll need you guys to help me with that. I can't do it all one-sided. So if you ever get something from me that says, hey, do you guys have a minute to play, test theory with me? That's what I'm doing. And I would appreciate input on that.
I'm just kind of going through the, yes, Francine, I'll make sure that that gets recorded. And I put the link to the floor time schedule in the chat. So.
No, Becky, it's not a prerequisite to be on the list for the lead gen as well.
Yeah, I got that one. I answered that.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, couple other things. So we've got Andrea's class on the 21st. Amy Donaldson is going to do another class on the 16th. Everybody's welcome to attend, but it is geared toward mid-level agents as opposed to very, very brand new agents. But if you're brand new and you want to listen in, it's always a benefit. And that class is going to be geared toward, what are the three words, Carly? Consistent.
Consistent was the one I was going to throw out, so I'm out.
It was something consistent closes. So it was just kind of how to structure your pipeline so that it's not feast or famine in real estate, which is always the goal, is how do we structure that pipeline. So anyway, that class with Amy Donaldson, it's on Zoom, it's free, it's 90 minutes. She will do a 10-minute pitch at the end for her coaching company, which is the price we pay for having her give us a free class. But whenever I have people do those classes, I make sure that something that the 60 or 90 minutes is valuable and the whole thing isn't just a sales pitch. And Amy is really good at that. Her classes are good. And you will leave with at least, you know, if I leave with one new nugget of information, I'm happy. And she always is good for that. And then the third class that we have coming up on the 28th, and I'll get you more details for that, is with Bridget Jones. And Bridget is a real estate agent with EXP. She's been a broker we're run mega teams, and she's now transitioning into lending. And so we're going to brainstorm topics, but it's going to be a class for realtors with some insights on the lending side that a realtor who's now a lender is like, I wish I would have known that when I was an agent, that kind of stuff. So just kind of a way to enhance your relationship with your lenders and learn a few tips along that line. So we've got those 3 classes coming up, and we'll put them on the training calendar as soon as, yes, Tina, I'll talk to you later. You go do your walkthrough, and I'll talk to you later about the small group.
Okay, yeah. I gotta run. I go to Camus after this, and then I'll head into office. So I'll see you there.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that's the 3. We will put them on the training calendar. You can always access the calendar on the CNW agent page. And I'll also send out the link, or I'll post the link in the Facebook group. It's just like a shared Google Calendar. 2 more quick things before the guys jump on, or at least Nathan is jumping on. Who has used or knows All Things Real Estate? They're the company out of Portland. They make cute real
I
estate
have.
swag. Yeah, I use them. They do like the stickers to put on your post of like sale pending, coming soon, just sold. So things, they do like colorful shoe booties, things that we don't have easy access to in Vancouver because CCAR offices aren't open during COVID, and you have to make an appointment to go meet them in the parking lot to purchase a sold sticker for your sign. So we are going to set up an All Things Real Estate pop-up shop in the back of the office, kind of in this, we're going to convert the sign room, and they're going to start stocking some of their stuff here so that we'll have it in Vancouver, and it'll be open for other agents as well. So part of floor time also is going to be that we can be open for that. But if you have a minute later, anybody, go to their website, All Things Real Estate, and send me like a short list of like 5 things you'd like to see stocked. So it's basically just going to be a little mini version of their Portland store in our sign room that we're going to clean up and have some shelving for and get set up. Oh.
I also downloaded a bunch of their downloadables and paid for them, like their open house signs and please work please and all this. And I'll save them and I'll just put them in the drive, and we can print them off in color at the office and have several copies. So I'll show you which ones I did already. And then we can do some of their other downloadables, and, you know, they charge us like $3 for them, but then we can just reuse them.
Yeah. I mean, I was working, I don't remember who it was. I don't know that. Oh, I think it was Sarah. She's not on the call. Like all we needed was a sold sticker. She wanted a sold sticker on her sign because the sign wasn't going to be picked up. Like it was done on a Thursday. Sign's going to be up till Tuesday. So why don't I get a sticker on it so everybody knows, you know, it's good marketing. Oh, that one's sold. Let's grab her number. She sells them quick. And it was like a freaking act of Congress to get a sold sticker from CCAR. They're not open. Then you have to call and make an appointment. It was crazy. So I talked to Tracy, who owns All Things Real Estate, and she's like, yeah, we'll do a little Vancouver satellite. So I'm interested in what people want to see in it other than stickers and booties, because we can get whatever it is they have and bring it over here. And let's see. Hey guys, Nathan and Mike are with us now. Quick update on Good in the Hood. We did the golf tournament for Bridge the Gap. Everybody had a great time. We raised a ton of money. Then we had our happy hour. I'm doing Tabitha's update because she couldn't get on the call. we had our office happy hour where we did a calendar for Council for the Homeless. I'm looking at it right now. It's still got some spots available. So if you're interested in participating in that fundraiser, it's just cash going straight to Council for the Homeless to aid in their efforts of working with people who live on the streets and need to get into some kind of transitional housing. So that calendar's up on the wall. If you have a favorite title person or a favorite lender, invite them to the office for a coffee date and then make them donate too. That's a fun way to do it. All right, our money guys are on the call. And if anybody has any questions for them, speak now or forever hold your peace, because I have a burning question and I'm going to lay it on them if nobody else has anything first. Okay, so Amanda Bennett, who's not on the call, is buying a house to flip. And she just got my wheels turning as we were talking about the process and going through it. And she's buying it through her LLC. So my question for Mike and Nathan, okay, so you're a real estate agent, independent contractor. So like that's notoriously hard to get a loan. Like if I wanted to go refinance my house and I'm self-employed on a 1099, it's like ridiculous. But if my company, my LLC wants to get a mortgage or a loan and finance a property, how do I make sure that my company is being built and structured in such a way that it can get credit if I want to do a flip or I want to, purchase an office building or after my last 3 trips to the beach with a client who wants a beach house, if I want to purchase a beach property that could be an office and a weekend stay for we can all go take floor time shifts at the beach. How do I structure my business so that it can get good credit?
Great question. Hi, everybody. Good to see everybody again. It's good to see some of you at the casino thing last night. That was a blast.
It was fun.
For being there. That was good times. I think Mike had a really good time, so his camera's off. So,
100%.
I think he's still on the orange juice and Tylenol method. So we'll see how he does today. But it's great to be with you. The credit question with businesses, especially for independent contractors, is a really, really interesting one. First and foremost, I'll address because you mentioned a few different things. I'll mention, first of all, lending in general. Lending in general, yes, is difficult if you are a sole proprietor, but much easier if you use some sort of bookkeeping services because they can give you third-party P&L statements, and they can also validate your income. And so if you're not using a bookkeeper, use one, because especially for lending, lenders really want to see an uninterested third party prepare your financial statements. And that's a really great way to actually know what your income is, because you guys know you get your 1099s and that's like at the end of the year, you're like, oh crap, what do I do? How much do I pay taxes for? Then you do all your, try to get all your money going and try to figure out what your deductions were for the day, for the year. So if you just use a bookkeeper that's doing something on a monthly basis, it's going to help a lot with lending. How you structure your company is going to help. So if you're an LLC and you're doing a healthy amount of business, your taxable income's, north of 60 grand, you can use an S Corp. And one of the reasons why we love using the S Corp designation is because it gives you a W-2. And so for lending, that's really nice to have a W-2. And so you can basically create one for yourself. So those are just a couple little just structural things that might help just with lending in general. It has nothing to do with credit at all. But for lending, having a W-2 or having some third party give your financial statements to a lender is extremely beneficial. So hopefully that helps. Does that make sense, Shanna?
It does.
Any follow-up questions on that part?
It's so hard for self-employed people. I mean, we all have clients who run a small business and can't get a loan to buy a house. So I want to make sure that we're setting up our business part appropriately, not just me for the brokerage, but I mean for each agent forming an LLC.
Correct.
You may want
every agent needs an LLC
or
no
buy a
matter
rental.
Yeah, LLC. Every agent needs an LLC no matter what. The reason why every agent needs an LLC is because they need legal protection against lawsuits. That's the main reason. The beauty, the where that comes into play with lending is if you can use an S Corp or you have a bookkeeper who can prepare financial statements for you. So those are really important. So let's go to credit really quick. Once you have an LLC, one of the very first things you should do is apply for a business credit card. That's probably step number one.
Okay.
The reason why it's step number one is because when you are a real estate agent, on every credit transaction, even you're an LLC, they're going to use your personal credit. However, when you go to borrow, you do not want credit in your personal name because that goes against your debt to income ratio. So you want the debt, if you have any debt, business debt, you really want it in the name of the business because it will not affect personal financing. Does that make sense? So you want to
Yes.
separate the debt. You want the debt to actually be in the business, so that's not affecting your lending potential on a personal side. Secondarily would be to get like a car loan or some sort of note like that. So you're kind of just like you normally would when you're 18, you get starting building credit. It's really, really similar. The main difference, and I'm so glad you asked this question because I literally just met with a corporate lender this week on Tuesday and had this exact conversation. So I'm just going to go over some of my notes that I have from him. So yeah, you could use either a credit line, a business credit card, get a car loan, something along those lines, which I know car loans aren't everybody's thing, but if you want to build credit, it's a really good way to do it. Especially if you get one that's reasonable and it keeps the debt off of your personal side of the balance sheet, which is really important. No matter what, and this was the part that was new to me that I didn't know. If you get a mortgage or you need a loan for a home, as a real estate agent, they're still going to go off your personal credit, even if you're buying it in the business. So what's really important here is that your personal credit is flawless. You have to make sure your personal credit is good. The benefit to doing all the things we just said is it keeps your personal credit really clean and still gives you lending power without messing up your debt to income ratio. Okay.
Okay.
So that's a really weird one that I didn't know. You can own it in the LLC, but they still go off your personal credit.
Okay.
So that was a new thing for me. I didn't know that. Did you know that? I didn't. That was new for me. Yeah, that was new for me. So so he basically says, when it comes to flipping houses, that is solely going to be based on their personal credit and not business credit, because they would most likely have to obtain a mortgage or an equity line on their home or the home they are buying. So that was directly from the commercial lender, who specifically was speaking about real estate agents.
Okay.
So it's kind of tricky. So make sure your personal credit's good. When it is, get a business credit card. They're gonna base it off of your personal credit to get approved. But once you have it, the beauty is the debt is not on your balance sheet. The debt is on the business balance sheet, which is really important. So if you're using business debt, make sure it's on the business side of the balance sheet. If you're going to buy a car, make sure the debt is on the business side of the balance sheet, so it's not messing up your lending power. This is really, really important, you guys. So you can imagine if you have credit cards or line of credit or car. I mean, you could have $1,000 a month of payments pretty simply, pretty quickly. You don't want that on the personal side of the balance sheet if you're trying to buy a mortgage and flip a house. You really want to make sure you have every single dollar allocated to be able to purchase the real valuable assets.
Okay, then speaking of a car.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am buying a car probably next week.
Okay.
And I'm buying it solely from the business
Okay.
account.
Okay.
Does it have to be titled in the business name? Because nobody can tell me how to do that.
It will be. That's what it should be.
Like when I do the title, they're like, well, no, you just put your name.
So it's 2 half dozen, one or the other.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You're going to deduct it the same way on your taxes either way. It's not going to matter. But if they will allow you to do it in the name of the LLC, do it that way. It's cleaner. It's the proper way to do it. There should be no issue there at all.
Well, the issue is with the Department of License, the DMV, and
they wouldn't do it for you.
They were just like, they want my articles of incorporation. They wanted a few things, and I'm like, okay, I can get all of that. And then some things they were asking me for that I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, that's really normal. That even happens sometimes at some banks, just to open up a bank account. They want your articles of incorporation or your organizational chart or something like that, or a business plan. So that's actually really not abnormal. That would be very, very common.
Okay.
So there are extra steps to go through, but if you can do those steps, that's the proper way to do it.
Okay.
Because the reason why is because you want the debt and you want the asset on the business balance sheet, not the personal balance sheet.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's going to be cash.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
does
so you want the asset on the business balance sheet.
the asset on the business
Yeah,
balance?
because then you're going to use what's called a depreciation schedule. And so we'll help you with that. So here's one of the cool things about cars. So if you lease a car, the payment is deductible. Okay, up to certain limits with income, and there's some really weird IRS rules about like luxury vehicles,
Yeah.
which is really kind of screws up real estate agents because they typically buy nice cars. So there's like a percentage that you get. I forget all the nitpicky rules. I apologize. But if you lease a car, the payments in general are completely deductible. When you buy a car, if you use financing, the payment is not deductible. If you buy a car, the payment, the interest is, but the payment is not. Okay, and here's why. Because if you are like Shanna and you're going to pay cash for a vehicle, then you lose the capacity to have any tax benefit from the vehicle if you're only able to deduct the payment. So instead of deducting the payment, the IRS says that you can use what's called a depreciation schedule. A depreciation schedule simply means that the asset that I own becomes less valuable over time, and I should not be taxed on the full value of the vehicle every year. When my asset loses money, think of like a stock. If you own a stock and the stock goes down, you actually get a tax credit because you lost money or a bad bet or a bad something. Well, bet's different. Betting's a little different. But in terms of like, if you lose money, you actually get to write off the losses on your taxes. That's basically the same thing as depreciation. So why that's good for you, Shanna, is that you get the same tax benefits as somebody who would have borrowed the car or borrowed money to purchase the car. You get the same tax incentive both ways. So that's why they do it. It's the only way to make it fair for every which way you can purchase a vehicle. So the depreciation schedules are awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. I know the words depreciation schedule, but I've never put together how that works or what it means. So
yeah, so like basically,
I like that I have you guys helping me with this.
Yeah, you're welcome. So if you buy like a new car, the first year, the maximum you can write off on the car is typically $18,000 unless it's over 6,000 pounds and it's like a work vehicle. So you have to have like a big old truck or, some sort of like real genuine like farm equipment or something, like those ones have a different schedule if it gets over 6,000 pounds. Kind of random. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere decided this is the magic line. Nobody can cross it. And that's how it works. But below that, it's $18,000, which basically says like, hey, if you buy a $60,000 car, we'll say it can go down a maximum of $18,000 of value year one.
Okay.
So you get to write up 18 grand of it on your taxes. And that's for everybody, every car, other than the ones that are over 6,000.
And then we've got a question in the chat. Is there a certain amount of time frame that you would want to lease?
I do not have an opinion on that. In general, my opinion for real estate agents is that leases are very dangerous. And the reason why I say leases are very dangerous is because they typically have mile restrictions and you guys blow it out of the water by July.
Right.
By July, like you're gone. You've done it all. You've put all your miles in your car you can do. And then they charge you per mile over that. There's penalties to go over. It's typically like 8,000 or 10,000 miles. Shannon, how many miles do you think you drive in a year?
Oh, I drive probably 25.
Yeah. So a lease would be a disaster. You'd spend so much money on that lease. So in general, for real estate agents, I don't recommend leasing because of the miles restrictions.
Okay, so Roxandra's question was, is there a certain amount of time frame you want to lease? And then there's a follow-up. Would you do it by miles and then just trade in for a new lease when you got maximum miles?
Again, there's penalties for getting your lease out early.
Okay.
Usually the 3-year leases, 1 to 3 year leases. And if you're going to do that in 7-8 months, I mean, you can go in and run the math. If you let me just put this way, Roxandra, if you have an actual situation and you get the numbers from like the finance manager at the place, just bring them to us and we'll run the numbers for you. We'll see if it makes sense.
I know that one thing I just learned about leasing a vehicle is that when you go in, everything is set in stone. And nothing is set in stone. Every single inch of it is negotiable.
Yes.
So don't let them tell you this is how the miles work or this is how that works, because it's all negotiable.
Yes, all of it is negotiable, and do not accept the first price at all.
Yeah.
Ever. Negotiation 101. You guys know that.
Yeah.
Now I got to walk sell club and negotiation with you. You guys do it all day, every day. You guys are constantly negotiating.
Does anybody have any questions? I love getting your input because there's at least 2 people on the screen right now that I'm looking at that I've personally talked to about wanting to do more investing as
Yeah.
being a real estate agent, but also purchasing rentals, purchasing commercial property or doing a flip. And so for us, we are the shit at selling real estate. We know what we're doing, but that takes us into a new level that having some expert guidance on is crucial.
Yeah. So investing is really interesting. So, and just so you guys know, like we don't manage any money. We used to be a part of a financial firm, but we don't do that anymore. So I can't be specific about what to buy or something like that. That would actually go against my errors and emissions insurance, but I can tell you how stuff works and give you some basic philosophy. So in general, the most important thing about investing is you have to invest in something you know, and typically something you use. That is
like real estate.
like real estate. So if you use Amazon and you understand Amazon and you like Amazon, you should invest in Amazon because you use it all the time. Like you understand it, you understand the viability of it. If there's just some random stock that some person's like, hey, you should buy this energy stock, and you know nothing about energy companies, you know nothing about solar, but somebody just says it's going to blow up, you're going to lose your shirt. Like that's just in general how it works. And so this is not my personal philosophy. This is from Warren Buffett. This is his opinion. Right? So yeah, Microsoft is Dogecoin. So I understand Dogecoin to an extent, to a level. Mike and I both made a ton of money on it. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time with it. But we also followed crypto for a long time before that happened. I've been in Bitcoin for years. So it's one of those things that's like Warren Buffett basically says, invest in stuff you know, invest in things that you use. So if you're a real estate agent and you know the market, I bet every single one of you knows if a home is a good deal or a bad deal. You know if it's going to be rent. You know the neighborhoods. You know the schools. You know the crime rates. Those are really important factors that will help you invest wisely. If you don't know any about that, about a stock or a situation like that, be very, very careful and do your research first. If you feel pressured into doing something, take a breath. Step back, ask some questions, get all the information you can possibly get on something before you pull the trigger. It's better to lose out on a couple of good opportunities than to lose your shirt on one. So that's just a basic philosophy. Okay.
Awesome.
Now I'll go to this next thing too. In general, I think that one of the things that many real estate agents miss out on because of that is they don't take the time to educate themselves on what other types of retirement accounts, tax deferred benefits, 401ks, like whatever. That was a fantastic look back. I like that. That was really good. Very safe. I'm all scratching it. Okay, so I also think that if you're interested in more long-term investing or retirement accounts, seeing how those work, I would highly recommend you just schedule a time with us. We'll walk you through the different accounts, how they work, what you can do with them, because a lot of real estate agents don't just take the time to learn something new. And so if you're more interested in, more traditional real or stock investing or retirement accounts or things like that, like just give us a call. We'd be more than happy to explain to you what your options are and just begin the education process to see if it's something that makes sense for you, your business, and your families.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, casino tips, baby. Last night I was betting max bet. I was pretending it was my child's college fund.
Yeah, casino night was a good time.
Yeah.
It was good to see you guys there, and thank you for jumping on today and helping.
You're very welcome.
Figure our shit out.
Hopefully that clarified some stuff for you. Any follow-up, Shanna? Are you good? Anybody else have any follow-up?
I'm good, and if we have any follow-up, we'll send it to you.
Awesome. Have a great day, you guys. Good to see everybody.
Thank you. All right, well, you guys, that was my whole agenda. Does anybody have anything they need to share? Haves, wants, need an open house, problem property. We got Bella's problem property under contract, so that's awesome.
Sam Howard just posted on the think tank that she's looking for somebody to cover a showing. So if you want to do a showing today, go to the think tank.
Okay, so if anybody's available to do a showing, Sam needs some help. All right.
I just want to say I'm excited. I have a closing today. I actually
Yes.
joined figured out the software, whatever the tools, and got it through to today, which I'm happy to say. So
That is incredible.
I hope it's
And
I hope it's green and ready to go.
you did it with minimal hurdles too. Like we had like speed bumps, but no roadblocks.
Yeah. So yeah, that's not the new construction one that's coming up, but anyway.
Yeah.
So yay.
Yay is right.
And I'm always looking for open houses. If I'm available, I'd love to do open houses on the West Side Heights area. If anybody needs any help with that.
Very good.
Thanks.
Anybody else have anything? All right. Well, thank you for popping on the meeting. I appreciate you all very, very much. And I will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.